What's poppin', y'all? 6ix9ine has been on one hell of a meteoric rise again, and it's a contextual rise that we're going to get into a little bit later in this video, but that has resulted in his home being invaded by 4 gunmen and his mom being held up there, who is a 60-year-old Mexican woman. As 6ix9ine moved to Miami, quote unquote Miami, damn near everybody that lives in Miami either lives in one of 2 places. They're either living in Brickell/downtown, which is actual Miami, or they're living an hour plus outside of it. Like these people, and then they're claiming Miami, which is like, dog, you live in Orlando, Florida, okay? Wait, Orlando? I'm tripping. I don't mean Orlando. I mean Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, or Hollywood, Florida, or Davie or something like that, which it makes sense to just say Miami. But the point is that a lot of people have been coming in and out of 6ix9ine's home, a lot of streamers, and with the streamers come either maybe security. Who else do you get that comes to his home? You get the assistants. So I don't think that this was bound to happen, but this got reported by TMZ, and it said Tekashi 6ix9ine's Florida home was stormed by 4 gunmen hunting for his cash and car keys, and held his mother against her will during the terrifying invasion. The chilling incident went down Sunday night when the embattled rapper's 60-year-old mother was at his residence and suddenly confronted by the armed men. 6ix9ine tells us he was not home at the time. Instead, he was live streaming with Jack Doherty when the home invasion played out. Keep in mind, 6ix9ine is on house arrest, which means that every time he's got to leave, he's got the ankle monitor on because he's awaiting the sentencing for one of his, I think it was a probation violation or something that he ended up doing, because if you guys remember, he was in jail with Diddy and Sam Bankman-Fried earlier this year, or was that last year? So he was out for work. You'll recall Doherty was also arrested Saturday morning on drug possession and other charges. The Palm Beach Sheriff's Office tells TMZ they were dispatched to the rapper's home for a home invasion. When they arrived, deputies made contact with several individuals inside the residence who reported that 4 armed men masked entered the home with handguns. Police said 6ix9ine's mother was physically held outside while the remaining suspects ran inside and ransacked the property, demanding cash and car keys. Cops searched 6ix9ine's home with a K9 unit but could not find the suspects, who possibly drove off in a vehicle before the deputies arrived. The one thing I feel really bad about here is 6ix9ine's mother, because this is the second time he said, like the first time I think she got held at gunpoint, and then 6ix9ine getting kidnapped himself, and then this, like, she's just being terrorized because of the behavior of 6ix9ine. And this is also another thing. When 6ix9ine was quiet in terms of social media fame, like he fell off, quote unquote, this did not happen. He's been living in Miami for quite a while. Once he starts doing all this active stuff, they're pulling up. And this is the problem with live streaming, because they knew that 6ix9ine wasn't home. Do you think these people that pulled up, I will say, like, we're not getting the information on, did they run off with anything? Did they get any cash? And the problem here is, like, yeah, it's Florida, so if gunmen pull up, they could just be laid down. But I don't know if 6ix9ine's not allowed to have a gun because he's a felon. But I'm pretty sure if somebody that lives at his home has guns, or is allowed to have guns because they're not a felon, then they can just, air it out on the other person. And 6ix9ine could use that stuff too. So the reason that they pulled up is because they can just monitor 6ix9ine's movements. If you see 6ix9ine at Aiden Ross's warehouse on the live stream, oh, 6ix9ine's not home. Probably whatever person that's defending 6ix9ine or his homie or whatever, he's with 6ix9ine. So easy pickings at home. One thing I don't understand is if they pulled off with the car keys, what were they going to do? 6ix9ine's got the brightest cars ever. It's a 6ix9ine car. It's like what Young Dolph had in Memphis, Tennessee. You saw the Young Dolph rap on that car. You're like, yo, this is the only person that has this type of car. Similar with 6ix9ine. So what, they were going to drive away? Drive where? They would just say, oh, we just saw this colorful car driving down the interstate, and they just took that exit. So I don't know what they were thinking in that regard, but I feel like we should have gotten more information. But I didn't like the way that 6ix9ine responded to this, and I'm gonna play you guys his response right now.
What's up? So I want to make this video to clear up all the fake news and rumors. So the world knows this. It's a fact. I'm on house arrest. I've been on house arrest. I think everyone in America and everyone across the world knows that I'm on house arrest. Yesterday, they allowed me to leave for work. People, I guess, saw that I was on live stream with Jack Doherty. They took that opportunity to do some. Like I said, it's me, so I get it. The rules are different for me. But if it was your favorite artist, your favorite actor, and that was done, they don't get no cool points for that. My mom is 60 years old. Y'all know I'm supposed to come home. Y'all know I'm home all the time. I'm on house arrest. So y'all take the opportunity that I'm not home. Y'all see me on live stream with Jack Doherty in Miami, and y'all do that. That's whack. Get no coupon for. I don't think nobody respects that. But like I said,
this is where the problem lies. You've got 6ix9ine, who is still trying to play this tough persona, and I don't think there's any benefit for him. Like right now, the reason that people like 6ix9ine is not because he's antagonizing people. It's not because he's saying like, yo, y'all only pulled up when you knew I wasn't here. So what if they pulled up while you were there? It's just inviting unnecessary negative energy, potential harm to yourself, when the reason that people love 6ix9ine so much now is not that. It's the personality, it's the charisma, it's the funny like jokes, and it's not tied to him being tough whatsoever. And I do think that there is an inaccurate assessment of 6ix9ine, quote unquote, coming back, and we're going to use the only metrics that we have to go by, which is number one, the streams on his most recent song. So if you guys recall, 6ix9ine dropped a song called Facts. This is post a Vlad TV interview, which is one of the biggest interviews views wise on YouTube. And if you take away, like, it's like 16 million views, maybe a little bit more, damn near everybody's seen a clip of some sort from this interview. And then he was also talking a lot about Young Thug snitching. So this was somewhat of a Young Thug diss track. So on YouTube, this one got 4.9 million views, which is the music video, which of course 6ix9ine is more of a visual artist. Like, just look at the guy. He's always been a spectacle. He edits his own music videos, which is something that, if you guys didn't know, Tory Lanez does a lot of as well, which just adds to the repertoire of Tory Lanez talent, which we always got to put respect on his name whenever we can. But this got 5 million views in a month. And this is a diss song to one of the biggest rappers, one of the biggest moments, 5 million views. Not bad. And I always thought that he was more present on there. But like, let's just take a look at the Spotify, right? Because people that listen to music, they're running Spotify back. 1.1 million. This came out on October 12th. It is currently November 18th. Why do I say this? I say this to say that everyone is talking about 6ix9ine having a comeback, but 6ix9ine's comeback is not musical. It's entertainment based. And I'm going as far as to say that 6ix9ine never left entertainment wise. He was always entertaining, even after the whole snitching thing. But this started musically. So Academics is somebody who's close to 6ix9ine, and he was saying that 6ix9ine just re-upped on a deal because his record label saw that his old music was streaming a lot after he was doing these appearances, or whilst he was doing these interviews and appearances that he had been doing as of late. Granted, there was a trend on TikTok that came before that. So Academics was saying that 6ix9ine might or does have one of the first deals where streaming is mandatory, where you have to like appear on streams, because they saw the correlation of him appearing on more streams and his music doing well. His older music, which is something that the record label cares about a lot more than the new music. The new music that drops, it really just reminds people that there's old music out there that they have an attachment to, whether it be nostalgia, whether it be an appreciation for an older time, or whether it just be the fact that it was some good music that he was dropping. Nobody can dispute that Gummo was hard. People didn't want to like it, and they were forced to. That's how hard the song went. So with 6ix9ine, right now, yeah, he's back, but he's back in a way that doesn't benefit his main career. So unless 6ix9ine wants to turn into a live streamer, which I think is possible, right? Like when he was in the Latin world, he was being covered by every blog. He was getting a lot of attention, and it was helping his music. He was beefing with other people. That was a Spanish-speaking market, so a lot of people in the US were not paying attention to that, and they thought he just fell off. And then there was the whole snitching thing. But musically, it's not translating. It's only translating to 6ix9ine getting appearances, and this makes sense. So if he's getting booked to show up on a Vlad interview, okay, he got a big bag for that. That was the most expensive interview that Vlad ever paid for. Vlad even said that himself. If he's getting paid for appearances on these streams, then that's a different career path. That doesn't mean 6ix9ine is lit again. When I say somebody's lit again, it means their music is hitting. And that's why, even though he's antagonizing Trippie Redd, I'm glad that Trippie Redd has not addressed him whatsoever, because they're not in competition. Like, Trippie Redd is actually somebody that's focused on music, and while he's not going viral everywhere, which, what is the benefit of going viral everywhere if it's not translating to your main thing, which is the music, because everyone else is just getting the views off of it and you're more famous, which some people like being famous, but there are drawbacks that come with being famous. So being famous and broke is one of the biggest nightmares someone could have. But let's just take a single that Trippie Redd has dropped recently. Trippie Redd on October 17th, he dropped this song Stay the Same, which is just a regular loose track. It got 1 million. This was a month ago, about the same time that 6ix9ine dropped a music video with that song, the song that Facts, that was a diss to Young Thug, where he was mentioning Lil Baby, who is also a rapper that 6ix9ine likes, with one of the biggest interviews of the year, and it got barely more streams than Trippie Redd, who just dropped a loose single on his Spotify. To be fair, Trippie Redd also did have a music video for the song, so not to take away from that. So they were kind of like on even footing there. They both released a music video, they both dropped a song, and we saw what 6ix9ine's did, we saw what Trippie Redd's did, except Trippie Redd's not acting a fool. Or I don't think 6ix9ine is acting a fool. Let me be very clear. I think this is 6ix9ine's element. I think he's great. If people are paying him appearance fees, they should be, because he's somebody that's going to bring something new and can morph to whatever setting entertainment wise. Like, he's not somebody that he gets brought in for an interview by 5 different platforms and you're getting the same interview. He's looking into, what is this platform, what do people like here. Like, even you see him interviewing Vlad, he's creating these hilarious titles and questions that nobody else that has Vlad on their platform, well, they are on Vlad's platform interviewing Vlad, that get invited to interview Vlad, would ask anything like this, because 6ix9ine has the brain of the content mastermind. But when I circle it back to the TikTok thing, he was blowing up on TikTok again, his old catalog, like Gummo, all of those hits, because of the nostalgia of young teens who were probably preteens when that was going on, talking about, man, 2017, 2018 was so crazy, when a lot of us a bit older heads, you could call us now, young unks, we were looking at it like, 2018 was one of the darkest ages of music ever. Of that whole decade, when you're talking 2010 to 2020, the new artists that came out in 2018, that was peak. Dog, you had people with Anne Frank tattoos. Do we even need to, like, 2016 was good. 2017 was like, okay. 2018 was, whoa, this is a nightmare. This is bad. That was like the worst. I guess you could say the trough before things started picking back up again. And then, yeah, you could talk about the TikTok ring. That was like the second ringtone era, but I'm not going to sit here and go off on that. So hopefully 6ix9ine, well, no, there is no hopefully. Like, I can hope, but 6ix9ine is not going to change. He clearly does not care. But I want music to enter the chat with us. 6ix9ine is going to have to adapt his music too in regards to the American market, or the English speaking market, whatever you want to call it, if he's going to keep doing this type of stuff, because unless he's rolling around with a bunch of goons again and trying to recreate that, then that type of music is really not going to hit. So there's got to be some new form of musical identity that 6ix9ine can walk into that would be congruent with this new phase of his life. And I just wanted to really show these numbers to show people, like, hey, what you market is what people pay attention to. What's being marketed right now is 6ix9ine. And I'm not saying marketed as in like he's paying money for this. What is being spread is 6ix9ine, the entertainer, the personality. And people mistakenly think, oh, that means his music is going up. Well, as we just showed you, no, it does not mean that whatsoever. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm going to see you on the next one.